The folks at Jinko Fishing not only bring you the Low Budget Live podcast, they bring you all the action, like the insane rolling action the new Don minnow has for all you minnow shakers out there. And if you're looking for a big minnow, which seems to be taking over bass fishing these days, look no further than the Don Senior. This big 6-inch minnow profile has entered the chat in a big way, available in some amazing colors. Pair it up on that Revolution jig head that's got a bait keeper so good you can throw your super glue in the trash. Gaff technology hook, when it drives in there, it just keeps on driving until that fish is in your hands. Check them out at jinkofishing.com and use code LBL25. That's right, LBL25 saves you 25% off just for being a lowlifer at jinkofishing.com. Now hang the banner. That Bassmaster Classic winning banner, the first ever aluminum bass boat to take a ride in a Bassmaster Classic arena with a classic trophy, the Express X21 Pro. And now they have changed the game again with the new XR21, a high-performance rig like you have never seen. 250 Yamaha show on the back of that bad boy. More tackle storage than you can shake a stick at. Still the best hole shot in the game. If you've got a dealer close to you, go check one out. If you don't, drive a little further and get yourself behind the wheel of an XR21. You can thank me later. Express Boats, building excitement since 1966.
Damn these Biloxi blues. It happens every night.
Every night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
Nope, I haven't.
The summer heat
Have not.
treats me kind. It leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.
Sing.
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
No, I don't.
care. Headed my way
For another place.
and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Oh, budget. Live, the not so live variety from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill here in beautiful southern Middle Tennessee. And we are being brought to you by old Jinko Fishing. And I hope y'all took advantage of that Black Friday sale. 50% off everything over there. JinkoFishing.com. And I believe still going on today as you're listening to this. So get over there and get you some of the new little Don, as I'm calling it. Don Jr. is out, the 3-inch Don minnow. Y'all have heard me talk about that Don. Get over there and get you some. I don't even have any of those yet. So I'm going to slide over there. LBL 25 saves you money there. All right. This is the podcast for Monday, December the 1st. And you have been warned, okay? And this is really a rhetorical message. We have all been warned. It is December 1st. You have 24 days until you have to have your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, a gift for Christmas, all right? Okay? I say this every year because I suck at Christmas. Y'all have heard this time and time and again. We have a little bit of time here, low-lifers. And I'm not even speaking, if there's any lady low-lifers, I know there's a few out there. I'm not talking to y'all. Y'all are probably on your game. I'm talking to the men, all right? It's time. It's time to get prepared. It's time to not fall on our face for Christmas, okay? You have been warned. I hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. We had a fantastic one around these parts. If I look exhausted, it's because I am. I have been running, playing deer guide to these kids. I've had Hudson and Ryder deer hunting a lot. I have my boy Wes, my stepson, my youngest stepson. He's gotten into it in the past week, and man, we've been hunting hard. We haven't been doing a lot of shooting, but we've been hunting hard in some good old cold weather, and I would have it no other way than to get to do that during a little bit of a Thanksgiving break. But now we are back running crazy here as we enter this first week of December. And again, I'm thankful for each and every one of you out there, and I hope y'all had an excellent Thanksgiving. And I hope that you got to eat some dessert for breakfast, because I did. I actually finished off the last of it this morning, as a matter of fact. And now I'm back on my health kick a little bit now that we got all that out of our system. Exciting news last week. And this is going to be kind of the theme of this week's episode. Exciting news after I had already put Low Budget Live out last week. The NPFL roster dropped. And I'll be honest with y'all. You may think, oh man, he's dialed in. He knows what's going on. There's a lot of times with the NPFL I don't, especially in the off season, man. We don't we talk more deer hunting than we do business. Me and Brad Fuller and the crew. And I did not know the roster announcement was coming. I had seen glimpses of the roster, as it started to be compiled. I had seen that, but then last Monday, it drops. And it is now here. And holy cow. Our first full field, as far as based on 130, that's what they've always been shooting for. We've came up just a little short the last couple of years. And they got 130 anglers. They're actually looking for a couple more. We've got some anglers with some things going on health-wise that might not be able to fish the entire season. So the anglers have talked about it, and they're willing to add a couple more. So we may go a touch over that 130 as we roll into March of 2026. So that first tournament down there at the Harris Chain. But, man, I actually did my old buddy Rich Hellabass. I did Hellabass Live, I believe, Tuesday last week to talk about this roster announcement. And I'm like, man, I have not discussed this on Low Budget Live. And I'll be dead honest with you. I'm sure there are, as there tends to be in bass fishing these days, there's a lot of people that make videos about all these things. Sometimes it's things they know about. Sometimes it's definitely not anything that they know anything about, but they still make the videos. But I thought, man, I want to spend a Low Budget Live on my platform here talking about the NPFL roster and kind of how we got here as an organization, because you know what? I'm about as qualified as anybody on planet Earth to talk about it, other than my dude Fat Cat Newton or my guy Paul Benson or Brad Fuller or Al McCullough or Mike Como. Just some of the crew there, because I've been there, man. Almost every step of the freaking way I've been there, and I'm proud of those guys. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I am proud that they've got a full field. And what a field. What a field we have going into 2026. And, man, I've just been kind of looking back and thinking about just all the things we've been through. Fat Cat and I talked about it a little bit this week, and, it's been a roller coaster, man. It's been a roller coaster. And to think these guys, I believe it was 2019, made an announcement, we're going to start a tournament trail. And they put out a press release, and I joked about it on this show. I've said it many times. I'm like, yeah, I got a tournament trail too, And they didn't have any details. And they said, hey, it's the National Professional Fishing League. Here's a super cool logo. This is what we're looking at doing. And then I got involved with them in the fall of 2020. They sat right here in the bar and grill, a few feet from me over here at the actual bar. In the bar, there's not a grill, but there is a bar. They sat over here, Paul Benson and Brad Fuller. Man, they showed me this roadmap to the future and what they wanted to do and how they saw live coverage and how they saw their place in the fishing industry, which was a big concern of mine. Like, how do you fit in when there's only so many pieces of the pie? How do you fit in? And they're explaining, like, this is how we think we get there. And that original business model changed a few times, but the people never did. And the vision never did, right? And I think you're not here headed into a sixth season with the adversity they've had, with the lack of industry support they've had, with the lack of, for a few years there, the lack of fan support. And I get it, right? Why fans wouldn't support it in the beginning, because you're not familiar with the anglers. You're not familiar with the organization. Anything new is very hard, no matter what kind of business that is, right? I always kind of relate it back to music for me. You can play in a bar and pour your heart out up there playing originals, Hey, man, I wrote this song about my great-granddaddy coming home from war, and there might be one person in the whole room that pays you any attention. The rest of them are just drinking their beer because they're out there to have a good time, right? It's all about your audience. And then you're like, hey, here's Sweet Home Alabama, and the place goes nuts. It erupts because people like what they're familiar with. And man, I struggle with that when I play music because I'm like, well, I poured my heart into this thing. And until people get some repetition on things, they tend to not go that way. And it's just human nature. It's totally human nature. But I lived that in music so many times, and most musicians live that, and would if there were any of them sitting here with me would say, yeah, that's just how it is, unfortunately, until something breaks, until something happens and people think it's okay to like it, to share the word about it, and that just tends to happen, right? However, if that's organic, if it's forced, however that works, that seems to happen. And man, I fought the fight on this show talking about the NPFL anglers because we had so many amazing stories and we had so many amazing anglers that this was their platform. Guys like a Luis Fernandez, guys like Hunter Bogman, Kevin Rogers, just Timmy Reams, amazing anglers. Sent a guy like David Gaston, which David had been around, but fished the NPFL, has a killer season there, then ends up making the Elite Series, still in the Elite Series to this day. You got Keith Carson crushing it in life. I knew of Keith before he got to the NPFL, but he was our first ever Progressive Angler of the Year. Guys like Brandon Pickwick Perkins, winning so many times. I knew Brandon. He's local to me. But these stories were amazing, but still people weren't necessarily tuning in by the thousands. We had a fan base, albeit small. And people want things they're familiar with. That just keep that in mind in this conversation that we're having. They do. And, there was a couple things that I think hurt us. I think the coverage, as fishermen, I think we can all agree that fish are more pressured than ever before. So why not give yourself an edge every time you hit the water with bait fuel? Marinate your soft plastics in it, put it on your spinnerbait skirts, put it on your jig skirts, and use the hard bait stick on your jerk baits and crankbaits to create that scent cloud that's going to drive those fish crazy. It was developed in a lab. It's been proven in the water over and over and over again that fish love bait fuel. Fuel every bite with bait fuel. And when you're out there on your next trip, don't deal with battery issues. You should be running Pro Guide batteries, some of the best batteries in the game. They've been in business over 40 years. They're not a fly-by-night company. They make some of the best AGM and lithium products you will find. And now their new charger line, you have no excuses whatsoever. They got you covered A to Z to make sure your days on the water are spent headache-free when it comes to batteries and chargers. ProGuideBatteries.com. You can use code LBL10 to save some money and let them know you are a low lifer. Big news from the folks over at Gill Fishing. Their website's changed. GillMarine.com/fishing. GillMarine.com is where you can find all things Gill apparel, like this Meridian hoodie. A lot of hoodies that have a face mask built in are annoying. I'm just going to say it. It gets all up in your beard. It's great when you need a face mask, but when you don't want to be walking around with a face mask all up in here. The Meridian comes with a removable face mask, one of the most genius designs I've seen in a minute. It's becoming one of my favorite hoodies, no doubt about it. Just like their rain suits, their boots, all their gear. Cold weather is here. Get over to gillmarine.com/fishing. Use code LBL20 to let them know you're a low lifer and save 20% at gillmarine.com/fishing. And last but not least, baitworks.com, bait-wrx.com. It's where you can find that LOB power finesse jig, 3/0 trocar hook, finer than frog hair skirt material, and it is an absolute bass catcher. Don't just take my word for it. Get over there to Baitworks. Get you some. Use code Duncan-10. Duncan-10 is going to save you cash at checkout on everything at baitworks.com. Fat Cat and I do the best we can, all right? No, the production company we were working with, it was awful. It was awful. It was hard to find. You had to go to some convoluted app, and it just wasn't a good product. It wasn't a good product at all. And they tried to square peg and round hole it and work with these guys until this last year when they decided to change directions and take a risk and go out on their own. Like, hell, if we're going to spend some money, let's spend some money on ourselves. Let's invest in ourselves from a production standpoint. They decided to do that going into 2025. And you know, that's something that I've always, with the leadership, ownership group there, I don't think, unless you've been to an event and you see all the logistics of everything, you understand we have a very small crew, get things done with a minimal amount of people from a production standpoint, from an overall pulling a tournament off. And man, there's just not a lot of anglers that I know that complain about how things function, how it works, man. You pull up at the ramp, they're putting you in, they're parking your truck. You don't have to touch anything. I mean, it's really something to see. It makes me jealous as a commentator. I'm standing there in the mornings in the dark and I'm like, damn, wish I was getting ready to take off today and go fish. And I've always felt like that at these NPFLs, that if I didn't work for them, it is certainly a trail that I would fish. It has that old FLW feel to it, which only FLW anglers understand and former FLW anglers understand. And I remember standing there with David Dudley at the very first event you follow. He's like, man, these guys got lightning in a bottle and they don't even realize. Talking about, you know, the ownership and the anglers and who knew then where it would take us, because first year things got a little crazy financially for them. They tried to do a lot of things. They ended up having to cancel that first championship. And man, I thought it was dead in the water. I really did. And I'm like, well, there that was. We did that. It was a dream job for me, and it's over. And they rebounded, and Mike Como came into the picture and joined in with Brad Fuller. And man, they have taken it to where we are now, which is just incredible. Now, we've had a lot of anglers. I forget, and Ken Duke will, without a doubt, get me this stat before our first event. But in our 5 years of being in business, headed into year 6, there are only a handful of anglers that have fished every single season. Now, we've got some returning this year that fished several seasons that haven't fished them all, but have fished several. We've got a few coming back this year that have fished every single one of them. But a lot of trails, if you notice, especially trails that you don't technically have to qualify for, it's an application process. Anglers come and go, whether that's the pro circuit, Toyotas, whatever. You name the tournament trail out there, people do tend to come and go, and we've seen that every single year. There's a small group of guys, and I'm talking about a very small group of guys that have been very vocal in the NPFL last year. They were very vocal. Some of them have left over the fact that pros were allowed to fish a trail that has the word professional in the very title of it, the National Professional Fishing League. This is supposed to be the working man's trail. Everything wants to be a working man's trail, but you also $5,000 entry fee, and you're paying $100,000. You got live coverage, you got a championship, you got all these things. And when you try to put all that on, you need things like sponsors, you need fans, you need things to happen. And that goes back to what I talked about, that relatability, that familiarity that people long for in life. And so you had a guy like Patrick Walter show up. He's been there 4 of the 5 years. He did not fish year 1. He's been there since year 2. All-time leading money winner there in the NPFL. But Patrick has been there. You got a guy like Drew Cook's been there the last 2 or 3 years. These guys have shown up, and as the bigger names of the sport started to filter in and fish a little bit, albeit a very small segment of the overall population in the NPFL, the whining bunch really let that get the best of them, and you're beat when you show up at the boat ramp when you do that mentally, in my opinion. I'm dumb enough to think I can go beat them on a given day, okay? I've seen me try over and over and over. I think that's the beautiful part of our sport, is that at some point, if you have 3 special days, David can beat Goliath. We have seen that play out numerous times in this sport. When you don't have a chance is when you tell yourself you don't have a chance because angler XYZ showed up, right? And I think that is that's terrible. It's a terrible way to think. It's a terrible way to live. I can't do this because of this. Well, hide and watch. Hey, maybe it's stupid of me. That's always been my attitude. I want Goliath right there. Because if I have a good day, whether it's fishing, whether it's business, whatever, I am definitely David in the business world. Since leaving a Goliath, I want Goliath right there. I want to stare down the barrel at Goliath. I don't care. That's always just been my attitude. So, it's frustrating, but Some anglers left over that. Some anglers left because of the forward-facing sonar thing to go pursue other things. Don't blame them there. If that's your gig, of course, that announcement happened last year before the season was over. In late 24, headed into 25, there would be no forward-facing sonar. And then all of a sudden, you started having some of these household names show up. You had a Zach Bird's return. You had Gerald Swindle added to the mix. So many others last year. But not Shane LaHue, Brandon Cobb, not an overwhelming number of these high-profile names. Bill Lowen, Wes Logan. But Hank Cherry, Jason Christie, Kyle Welcher's been there the last couple of years. But you had these, but that's a very small percentage of the overall field, right? It just is. Now, did they absolutely catch a ton of bass? 1,000,000%. Was the AOY race dominated by a lot of those guys? Absolutely. They know the program. They definitely know the program. You want to get better, though. You got to fish against people better than you. You got to compete against people better than you. If you always stack the odds in your favor, you're never going to get better at anything. Life is all about a challenge. So they showed up, but my point has been to any naysayer of these guys should have never been allowed to fish this working man's trail. If you have a league that has the word professional in it, and you have a league that is certainly a business, it is a business first. It is a business. If you want a platform to fish, okay, and if you do love the NPFL, which so many anglers have claimed over the years, it's got to grow or it goes away. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, okay? If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So if you're sitting there and the application process starts and you are a gentleman that is over the NPFL and Gerald Swindle calls you and he's got a hell of a lot of fans. People love him. Great on camera. Tons of industry experience. Bassmaster Elite Series Angler of the Year 2 times over. You tell him no. I want to make this guy happy that just wants to be here and not have any stiffer competition than what he has right now, even though he's not succeeding now, he's going to be upset if these new faces come in and that happened. And I think last year was a major success for NPFL as far as industry support, fan support, angler support, viewership. They took a big risk on a production company. We had our hiccups. We'll have them again. We're flying by the seat of our pants and figuring it out as a group at each tournament, but we're doing it ourselves. Not with a gajillion-dollar back, studio, not with that. I mean, it's amazing. And we saw those numbers climb, but I think you had the combination of no forward-facing sonar. Our fishing world is divided over that, obviously. And I think that made for, I'd like to say it was me and Fat Cat, I'd like to say it was just us. Maybe we get a raise because it was just us, but it was not. I think you had so many factors in that to make 2025 a success. And there was uncertainty at the end of it. You're like, hey, these guys are going to go to the pro circuit. Pro circuit's going to be amazing. They're giving away dancing girls and millions of dollars just for paying a $5,000 entry fee. And then the roster came out and weren't that many guys on it that had been at NPFL. There were a couple, though, that had been very vocal about pros joining the NPFL that are going to another trail that has the word pro in it. The pro circuit that has a lot of pros. It's not a working man's trail either. It's funny when you charge these big entry fees, high risk, high reward, and you lay out that $100,000 first place prize. The cream rises to the top, and they're going to try to get in it. But there were a couple names on there that went to the pro circuit, but for the most part had some guys come back. But then the roster came out, and I got it right here to my left. Very unprofessional of me to look away from the camera, I guess. But I want to talk about it. That's kind of a ramble, a rant and ramble on how we ended up here through. I'm talking about peaks and valleys. Okay. I've lived them all. We've lived them all as a family at NPFL because we are indeed that. We are indeed that. We started out as business associates, ended up being friends, and man, we've been through some absolute stuff together. And those folks are family. Just like my EBT, I say my EBT family all the time. We're family. You spend that much time away from home with a group of people, you get tight knit. And we are indeed that. So I'm just so damn proud for them. I can't see straight. I am very blessed to get to do what I get to do. And this roster announcement, shame on you, Brad Fuller, because there's one name we're going to talk about that I did not get a phone call about. I didn't even get a text message from a deer stand. I think you wanted me to be surprised. But let's talk about this 2026 roster, because I still can't believe what's happening here. Full field, some of the names. And I'm going to start at the dadgum top. Put on your freaking helmets, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a man that's won 4 Bassmaster Classics, and he is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. I can't believe that I saw this name on the list, but ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Rick Clunn is joining the NPFL for 2026. He left the Bassmaster Elite Series. He's still been fishing. He's fished a few opens, but he is on the roster for 2026. And I'm giddy, man. I'm giddy. I am like a little school kid on Christmas morning. The fact that one of my heroes, one of my dad's heroes, so many people's hero, Rick Clunn, is on this list. Unbelievable. That one got me. I text Fat Cat, said, bro, ... Rick freaking Clunn. Like we were freaking out. We didn't know that when the list came out. And Brad Fuller probably knows that I wouldn't be able to keep that secret, because I'm very excited. But Rick Clunn joining the NPFL in 2026. But I want to just go through this. I've got some notes. I want to kind of talk about it. I know there, again, probably lots of videos about it, but man, I'm excited. And I feel like we have earned the right to be excited. We got amazing guys like Hunter Bogman coming back, and Kevin Rogers and Timmy Reams from those OGs that I call them from that first year. Amazing dudes, amazing anglers. They're all back this year. We got guys like Josh Hooks and Seth Ellis, which are incredible anglers that have been with us for a number of years. They all just finished up the championship there at Lake Hartwell. We got Scott Hamrick coming back, who was our NPFL champion last year. So many absolute hammers, guys like Baron Adams coming back, Corey Casey, Joey Bloom, and a young up-and-comer, him and Corey Casey both, Austin Garland. You got JT Russell. And these are the guys, again, that they may not be familiar to you, may not be household names, but trust me, when you're over there, you start to understand you better be paying attention to some of these young guys and some of these folks that you do not know. But some of the ones to me that just jumped out, okay, and I'm probably going to miss some. Oh, we got Gary Atkins coming back. Gary won Angler of the Year, I believe, in 2022. Fished with us up until he did not fish last year. He went and dipped his toe over into the pro circuit. He told me on the weigh-in stage, I was doing the emceeing at the championship. He said, I'll be back. The grass is not always greener. And Gary Atkins going to be getting him on that Atkins diet again. Y'all remember, I've had Gary on the show a couple times. He's I believe, a 2-time winner in the NPFL, and he's a former Progressive Angler of the Year. So Gary is a dude, especially in them couple smallmouth tournaments. He'll have a lot to say in those, without a shadow of a doubt. Wisconsin boy. But Gary Atkins going to be returning to the NPFL this year. Pretty excited about that. Real quick. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Had dessert for breakfast, okay? Sugar's racing through me. I can't talk. 2 names not on the list that I've seen on Facebook comments, because people have to focus on the negative, right? Or perceived negative. Jason Christie, Kyle Welch are not on the 2026 roster. Jason Christie is somebody I know very well. Been knowing Jason for years. His lovely wife, Shanna, is a friend of mine. We used to work together, talk a good bit. And I think the travel was just a lot for Jason. It did not, I mean, he had a run of like 9 weeks straight without going home. And listen, man, all these fishermen have lives outside of fishing, just like we all do, okay? So that wasn't a surprise for me. I know they built a new house recently. He was barely there. He was barely there in 2025. Yeah, he came out guns blazing. He got him a win. He qualified for the NPFL championship, so he'll fish that whenever we announce where and when that's going to be. I'm sure he will be in attendance for that event, but he's not on the roster. I really wasn't surprised by that one. Kyle Welcher, another one. So Kyle added the NPFL to his schedule 2 years ago. He won Angler of the Year with his progressive AOI in his first year, which gets you your entry fees paid for the following season. So for 2025, I had heard rumblings that Kyle would not have fished last year if he did not have his way paid. Okay. Because of the added travel, the added stress. He's got a little one running the roads with his wife. It's not an easy life, but he won Angler of the Year. So he felt obligated. Hey, I'm going to go fish. I don't have that expense. That's another thing you got to look at. If you're fishing the Elite Series, any other trail, BPT, we got some folks like Zach Bird's doing both. If you're fishing both, it takes an unreal amount of money to do both. It just does. Between entry fees, travel expenses, not to mention the wear and tear on your body. I was talking with Lee Livesey about this last year. He's like, dude, I love everything NPFL's doing. I cannot make it make sense for me from a travel, distance, like A to Z, travel expense-wise, adding those entry fees. He's like, man, I just can't make it make sense. He's like, I want to fish. I can't make it make sense. I get that. And I think that's what you're seeing with Kyle and Jason. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, I don't think anything dramatic happened in that situation whatsoever, but we will damn sure miss them. I loved getting to cover Jason and getting to cover Kyle Welcher, man. I mean, Kyle's one of the brightest spots in the sport. It does suck that he's not going to be with us this year there at the NPFL. Like me some Kyle Welcher. But yeah, I wanted to address that real quick before we dive in. Just because I did see that. I saw that a lot in the comments, and rightfully so. Again, two of the household names. People are like, oh, crap. But I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see that with NPFL, man. Like we are definitely, when these folks make their living on the Elite Series, which most of them do, this is a good trail that they can fish, turn forward-facing sonar off, get back to their roots, their words, most of their words when you interview them about this, but they like the environment. It's more laid back, and I think they're absolutely enjoying it. And I think the list of anglers that have popped up on this list that fish either the Elite Series or BPT or have fished both speaks to what they are hearing about the league and why they want to be there. So Rick Clun has entered the chat. Really, really big addition. These are the ones that jumped out to me, and then we'll go through this bad boy. Fred Rubanis, we had him on the show. Looking forward to some boom boom. Someone I have not talked to that we will get on the show very soon. Randall Tharp, the honey badger, joins us. We're starting in Florida. I think he's going to be pissed off at him. I think Randall Tharp is going to be very dangerous. You got a former Bassmaster Classic, former Forest Wood Cup champ, and Luke Clausen joining the team this year, so to speak. I think he's going to fish some other things, but he's already made an announcement video. Someone that we've talked about on this show multiple times, Andy freaking Morgan. Whenever he gets out of a tree stand, I hope to talk to him about next year. He is certainly one of my AOY picks because I think he's going to be very mad at him. He just said it over and over last year. He hated the BPT format, and now he finds himself in the NPFL. He turned down his invite to come back to the BPT. Man, I think he's going to be mad at him next year, dude. And a mad Andy Morgan at Bass is like when he's mad at ducks and deer and turkeys. Something finna get hurt. So I think Andy Morgan will certainly have a great year. Gerald Spoyer we've talked to on here. Gonna really fit in with us there. Look forward to spending some more time with Gerald. Cliff Crochet, the Cajun baby. You're going to come over there. We're going to catch a bad boy. That was a really bad Cliff Crochet. That was more like, do you remember the coach from the Water Boy? Yeah, damn boy, I know that. Remember that? Anyways, sorry, Cliff Crochet. He is a coon ass. He'll tell you. David Walker, legend. He's been on the Wheaties box. Former FLW Tour Angler of the Year, Elite Series champ. David Walker coming to the party. Ray Hanselman, Hanselmania, going to run wild in the NPFL. We shall see. Alex Davis, my old buddy, spinnerbait kid himself, spent all his time, all his professional fishing focused on the FLW Tour / MLF when it made that change. He's had a great bit of success over there, and just kind of over it. He's like, man, I either want people to pick, do we have sonar, do we not, blah, blah, blah. Either way, he's not really for or against, but he's like, I'm tired of the mixed match rules. NPFL, several of his friends have fished NPFL. He's bringing them back with him this year. Sean Murphy, Rhino Chandler, former FLW Tour anglers. Sean and Rhino both fished NPFL in the first couple seasons, so they know the program, and so they're getting the band back together this year. Jacob Prosnick on the list. Old big boy. Going to come over there. Better hope there ain't none on the beds. Some of those tournaments, Jacob Prosnick will be in the house. What I'm very excited about, I think we better have the edit button ready, though, if we ever get him and Watson and Swindle on camera at the same time, and that is Matt Onum Robertson. Matt is bringing it. So we're going to see Matt over there in the NPFL. Got Greg Vincent. Greg Vincent, great human being, great fisherman, BPT pro. Greg's joining the program. We got Wesley Gore. Will be very dangerous in the two Coosa River events as well as the rest of them. But Wesley, great with scope, but he's looking forward to a no-scope year. I've talked to Wesley about that. Chad Grigsby, former FLW Tour champ, is coming to the program. And then another one that jumped out to me that's a new one, and he reached out to me actually about joining the NPFL, Brock Mosley. Looking forward to spending some time with Brock this year as well. So that's some of the new ones. Of course, you got Zach Burge coming back. Let's just roll through the list real quick. Baron Adams, freaking nature fish catcher. Been with us 3-4 years now in the NPFL. Baron was, unfortunately, Baron won there at Wright Patman, did not have the fishing license, if you remember. Crazy story, cost him $100,000, but Baron is always in the mix, always a check getter, and checks will be very hard to get this year, I predict, with this list. Johnny Adams, I do not know you, Johnny. I look forward to getting to know you. Gary Atkins, as I mentioned, making his return to the NPFL, former NPFL champ and Angler of the Year. Sean Alvarez. Sean joins us, I believe, last year. Sean's from over around the Lake Hartwell area. Good guy. Look forward to seeing him this year. Charlie Apperson returns this year. No old Charlie. Todd Alton, a legend in my life. Todd is he's a freak. Former Elite Series, former FLW Tour Pro, almost won the Forrest Wood Cup. Chris Baker. Chris, not familiar with Chris. We'll get to know Chris. Keith Bardolph, got to spend some time around Keith and his bride this year in the league. Great people. Hunter Bogman, my little buddy Hunter. He's going to be back, and he had 2 top 10s this year, I believe. Looking to add some more. Bob Burley, former FLW Tour angler. Burley also fished the league, I believe, in year 1. He's back. Tommy Biffle is back, the legend. He's going to cut somebody and wear them short shorts. Zach Burge is back. Joey Bloom that I mentioned. Joey, a young up-and-comer, man. Kid can catch a freaking bass. This one I'm very excited about. Did not mention in my notes there. Oh, T-Roy. T-Roy Broussard from Swamp People fame. He's fished the FLW Tours, fished the Bassmaster Opens. And if we ever get him, Swindle, Onum, and Watson on camera at the same time, we will get canceled. I'm just going to go ahead and predict that. But T-Roy coming. Nick Brown, an awesome NPFL champ. Won there at Lake of the Ozarks. One of our most consistent anglers. Definitely going to have something to say this year. One of my favorites out there as well. Paul Browning coming back. Paul fished with us year 1, maybe year 2. Great shallow water fisherman coming back. He's got a lot of success. Jason Burrows, been absolutely setting the NPFL on fire. Thought he was going to win the championship this year. Had a rough final day and ended up just missing that. So Jason Burrows returns. Josh Butler. What can I say about Josh Butler? He was involved in the Ty Al DQ unintentionally. Josh Butler, great human being, former FLW Tour Pro or Pro Circuit, whatever you want to call it. Got a Bassmaster Open win on Logan Martin, one of the lakes on the schedule this year. He'll be a force in those and beyond. John Canada, another former FLW Tour angler. He's came dang close to making the Bassmaster Elite Series a couple times. John Canada also will be a problem on the Coosa River and beyond. Scott Canterbury going to crunch him again. He returns. Quentin Capo, former Elite Series angler and NPFLer, returns this year. Oh, big Quentin. Don't make him mad. He's got them guns, boy. He's got them guns going. So Quentin Capo coming back. Corey Casey, I mentioned. South Carolina pro, fished with us a couple seasons. Amazing young angler. He returns. Craig Chambers, Don't know Craig. Looking forward to spending some time getting to know you, Craig. And I've not done any research on the names of the anglers that I don't know just yet. So my apologies there. Ryan Chandler, Rhino coming back, former FLW Tour angler and NPFLer. Hank Cherry coming back, a Bassmaster Classic champ 2 times over. Oh, look, right here in a row, 3 Bassmaster Classic champions. Hank Cherry, Luke Clausen, Rick Clunn, as we've talked about. Holy crap. Still can't. Yep, I'm awake. Not a dream. Brandon Cobb comes back. Bo Collins is a hammer, from what I hear through the grapevine there. North Carolina angler. Mike Como returns. Drew Cook returns. Richard Cooper, Coop, coming back this year. He's been with us, I believe, 4 of the 5 years. Coop might have fished all 5 years, actually, but Coop joining the program again. John Cox watch. And I've got a double Cox watch. A double Cox, okay? Because we've got John Cox from Georgia making a return. John's had some health issues. John fished, I would call him the one and not only John Cox in year 1. We had him on live a few times. And now he returns to the NPFL. And we'll have two Cox out there running around. So Cox watch. Lots of it next year. Cliff Crochet, Alex Davis. I mentioned Daryl Davis, Double D coming back. Former FLW Tour angler. Harmon Davis, former FLW Tour angler, making a return. He had some great tournaments this year. Bill Day, my old buddy Bill, former FLW Tour angler coming back. Seth Ellis, NPFLer coming back. The big man, Seth Ellis, he can catch a dang bass. Will Fletcher coming back. Tim Frederick coming back. Kyle Freeman, I don't know Kyle. Dylan Freeze coming back. Austin Garland coming back, great young angler. Kyle Glasgow coming back, another great angler. Todd Goad, former Progressive Angler of the Year in the NPFL, coming back. Wesley Gore added to the team. Chad Grigsby, Buddy Gross coming back. Greg Hackney, that old fella there. Scott Hamrick, Ray Hanselman. Chip Harrington coming back this year. Cole Harris coming back this year. Matt Herron coming back this year. Paul Hodges. Paul, I don't know you as well, but look forward to seeing Josh Hooks coming back. Stacey James coming back. Travis Jewell joining us again. Travis fished first couple seasons. We hadn't seen old Travis in a bit, but he is coming back. We got Ron Johnson coming back this year as well. Jonathan Kelly, former Elite Series angler there. I missed him on my new ad. Jonathan is a great angler. Look forward to him being there in the mix. Russ Lane. I knew this whenever Russ was on the podcast. Couldn't really talk about it. Russ Lane is back. Logan Latuso, who had one of them, weird polygraph situations with Bassmaster. Logan Latuso coming to hang out with us. Look forward to getting to know Logan this year. Shane LaHughes coming back. Derek Latonin coming back this year. Lavoid Lemon. Lavoid fishes the ABT. Looking forward to spending some time with Lavoid this year. Shane Lineberger coming back. Joe Lineberry. I do not know. Joe, look forward to seeing you. Oh, a name that I missed, Jared Littner. Old Big Jared coming to the NPFL. Wes Logan, Bill Lowen, Kevin Medley's coming back. We had Kevin this year. Chad Marler was a champ this year with us. He's coming back. He won at Lake Eufaula. Lindell Martin coming back. Matt McBee, Tater Hog. Get you a Tater Hog swim bait from Strike King there. Jason Manager coming back. Harry Moore coming back. Andy Morgan added to the list. Ricky Morris, not to be confused with former pro Rick Morris. Ricky is a different fella. I had to look that up because I thought, is that the same Rick Morris from Virginia that used to fish the Elite Series? Nope, Ricky Morris. Brock Mosley, Sean Murphy. Here's one that we're all nervous about just because of, his social media. What's going on these days? James Nigmeyer. James Nigmeyer joins the team. I mean, could bring some wild attention to the NPFL because his posts are wild, ladies and gentlemen. Unintentionally wild. James Nigmeyer post. Jordan Osborne makes a return, former FLW Tour angler, dang near one there at Santee Cooper this year. Jamie Pierce joins the party this year. Pete Pons joins us again. Jay Prize, KJ Queen coming back. Mike Quinlan coming back. Timmy Reams coming back. Dustin Renault joining the party this year. Jason Reyes coming back. Joshua Reynolds, I do not know. Joshua, look forward to getting to know you. Daryl Robertson, hero, legend of mine, former Forest Wood Cup champ, a gajillion dollars in FLW earnings, coming back again this year. Matt Robertson, as I mentioned, on him. Troy Roeder coming back this year. Kevin Crappie King Rogers making his 6th start in the NPFL 6 years in a row. Fred Rumbanis, JT Russell, I mentioned. Hunter Sales coming back. Man, that's another one of them up-and-comers that I apologize, buddy. Hunter is he's a bright spot over there in the NPFL, bringing college fishing to the forefront, man, with Carson Newman. He was the coach there, Carson Newman, and Hunter will have some more success this year. Ryan Satterfield coming back. He won there at Wright Patman a couple years ago. We're going back. I thought we could twist your arm into coming back. Ryan Satterfield was giving him a hard time on the NPFL stage about that because he didn't fish 2025. He's coming back. Adam Savage makes his return. Adam fished with us first couple years, man. Great dude. Look forward to having Adam back. Garrett Smith. Garrett, I look forward to getting to know you. Gerald Spoyer, Brad Staley coming back. Scott Suggs, Suggs is coming back. Gerald Swindle, the bow-legged bandit, about to not be bow-legged anymore with all these surgeries he's having. He'll be back. Randall Tharp, J. Todd Tucker coming back. Andrew Upshaw coming back. Grant Vest will be joining us. Martin Villa, I forget how you say his name. He's an amazing fish catcher from Virginia. Had some success BPT and FLW Tour. He joins us. Looking forward to get to know him. Greg Vinson, as I mentioned. David Walker. Patrick Walters returns. More of the Patty Walt Show. Coach Walters. Jimmy Ward, former FLW Tour angler, showing up. Josh Watkins coming back. James Watson coming back. James M.F. Watson. Mitchell Webb coming back. Brad Watley joining the party. Former Elite Series angler there. Chris Wisenet coming back. Scott Wiley coming back. Alton Wilhoit coming back. DW. David Williams. Then we got Dustin Williamson and Jason Williamson. Them two, D-Will, D-Dub, and J-Will returning. Two of my favorites out there. Jason Wilson coming back. Tim Wilson coming back. Jesse Wise, an absolute fish catcher, always in the mix in the NPFL for the last few years. He's coming back. And then 130 on the list, David Wooten, who used to fish the FLW Tour as well. So there you go. The 2026 season of the NPFL could be called Legends, Up-and-Comers, Certified Fish Catchers, and Must-See TV, in my opinion. So there you go. That was fun, man. I've kind of skimmed over it, but we got to do a run through there together as low lifers. So appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. No guests this week because I didn't want to bug anybody on Thanksgiving. I just this week means a lot to me to get to spend time with just family and unplug, be in the woods, be at the house, and I have done that. Recharge the batteries, and you know I don't want to take anybody else's time away from their family to do a fishing podcast. I'll be honest with you, that's just full disclosure. And so I wanted to do a deep dive into the NPFL. I appreciate y'all checking it out. Going to take you out with some Biloxi Blues, and I'll see y'all next week. See you.
Spanish moss and Civil War ghosts, well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter, east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens it